Hello!
Morning.
And welcome to our very first land chat video. No more van chats in the cramped van with the cats for us.
No, so those of you that followed us for a long time will remember our van chats when we were out on our van life adventures. So we thought it was about time we did a land chat and updated you on our plans and what we've got planned going forward.
And what we've been up to, and we're going to answer a whole pile of questions that we've been sent as well. We are Those Weirdos, a family of 7.
We've been living, working and travelling for 2 years in our self-converted Sprinter van.
I have a chameleon.
We're driving to Portugal to find a bit of off-grid land to buy, then we're going to apply for residency and avoid the Schengen restrictions caused by Brexit.
We'll be filming every bit of the process so you can come along with us and be part of our journey.
First off, I'd like to let you know that this pile of rocks that we're sitting in front of right now is now known as Stoat Mountain because I saw a stoat there yesterday and he was really, really cute. He popped his little head out of a hole and he looked at me, and then he ran underneath and he popped his head out the other side and he looked at me again. So I'm very excited that we've got a stoat. I've never seen a stoat in the wild before.
No, that's very cool.
That's really cool.
So many animals on the land, it's wonderful.
And you caught something in your bucket the other day, didn't you?
I did, yeah, a little mousey in the bucket. He was so cute under our tarp that we'd covered up our tools and Martin's bike. There was a little mouse and I think he was making a nest in the tarp and fallen in the bucket.
You couldn't get out.
Him. He was so cute. Got so many mice, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we've started naming each part of the land, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, all based on experiences or things that we found there. We have Mouse Tree, which is the one that you've seen in previous videos with our hammock chair hanging in it, because for about a week there was a little mouse in residence in a hole in there. He's moved out now, we think. I don't think it was big enough for him. Just a little bolt hole.
It was, yeah.
We've got Scorpion Alley, where we saw the scorpion, Stoat Mountain behind us, and so on. You're going to make signs with Rosie, aren't you?
We're going to make signs, yeah.
Rustic signs.
Yeah, sort of spaghetti western town signs.
Yeah, cool.
Put them up on trees and so on.
Falling acorn. You have to make sure they don't fall on your head. Updates. Go on then, update us.
So a lot of people have asked about our visa, where we're at with that. So those of you that have been following us since when we were in the UK, we applied for our D7 national visa in February and we got declined. And you can check out the update on what that was all about, but in short, half our information had not been sent off to the embassy in Portugal. So we have appealed, and our appeal went in 4 months ago, was it? Near enough. And our passports were sent back. So we came out to Portugal, bought our land, all that's now in the history books. So while we were in Portugal, and we got our wonderful lawyer who helped us with the land purchase, she's been working on the visa. And the protraction is that normally the visa would be dealt with by the CEF, who are in slight disarray due to COVID and strikes and a number of other things, so everything is very delayed in Portugal and it can be quite bureaucratic and difficult at times anyway. So long story short is the good news is that we've had an extension on our stay in Portugal because our visa hasn't yet been issued. So we've been granted a stay till the end of December the 31st.
And that's an extension on our Schengen travel.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the visa for residency.
No. So the lady at the CEF said if it was down to her, she was head of the CEF in Castelo Branco, she said if it was down to her based on her job in Castelo that she would have already granted our visa. But unfortunately the decision rests with the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
So she's written him a letter saying that from her perspective she thinks we should be granted our residency visas. So fingers crossed. So we don't.
So it might still happen.
Oh,
it
of course,
might.
Yep.
I think you know, when you're the Minister for Foreign Affairs, you have a lot of things on your plate. He's got a lot of different jobs. It's not just, you know, one family's visa because they want to come and stay in Portugal. So I think we're right bottom of the list. I think we're just hanging around.
So yeah, so our 90 days expired on October the 5th.
Yep.
and that's been extended to December the 31st.
But we're going back for Christmas, aren't we?
We are going back for Christmas.
Back to the UK to visit family and so on. And hopefully, if we get our visa magically in the next couple of months, then that's magic and we'll just go back for a little bit. And if we don't get our visa, then we won't be able to return because we'll need to stay in the UK for our 90 days out of the Schengen area,
yep.
Sadly. Let's talk about our plans for the land. Lots of people have been asking about plans, and I know most of our videos recently have shown an awful lot of raking because we've just had to clear the ground. It's just all scrub and dead grasses and stuff. So we know that it's not a good idea to just have bare soil. Nobody wants that. That can cause erosion and so on. But to start off with, so that you can really get a feel for what your land looks like and what's growing where and what we want to do where, we have to clear it back and then decide what we're doing, and then we can let the things grow back in areas that we're not going to use, can't we?
Yep.
I'm looking forward to next spring where everything's going to be covered in wildflowers. That would be nice. We've mentioned our plans for a tiny house before. We've actually decided to shelve that project for now because we've decided that next spring we're really excited to get growing. We want to grow vegetables, and you want to grow exciting things, don't you?
I do indeed. Yeah, so I think we got overexcited. We were really excited about the prospect of building a tiny house.
Yeah.
We planned out the area. We did some rough plans of what we wanted it to look like.
We have measurements and everything all ready to go, didn't we?
Measured it all out. And whilst we're very excited about that, and we do want to build a tiny house, I think things get ahead of you when you're excited, and we suddenly kind of came to the magical realisation that our priorities really are to be able to grow food and plants to put around the land. So we've changed our priority from tiny house, because obviously we've got our van, we're happily living in that at the moment, so our new priority is preparing areas ready to grow. So there's a number of different areas there, isn't there?
Yep. We have a little area of land. It's actually just in front of where we're sitting and filming, and we're going to clear it all back, and it looks quite flat already, doesn't it?
There's a terrace at the bottom.
Yeah, doesn't need too much doing to it in the way of, big landscaping, and we're going to get ourselves a big polytunnel so that we can start up seeds and so on. We're going to fence it all in against the boar, because we've seen lots of piggy footprints around and about when we've been walking the dogs, so we know that they're around. So fence it off, get a polytunnel, make a little bit of a potting shed or a potting area, somewhere to keep our tools in the dry because it's going to be torrential rain. And there's a different patch that I know Dom's shown you before on previous videos where I'm going to have a vegetable garden. We're going to fence that off too. We're making compost, and we're all getting ready so that next year we can just start growing lots of vegetables.
Yep.
It's exciting.
Plan, yep. So we've kind of prioritised it and put it into stages. So one of our biggest problems is that the area that we're living in is at the top of the land, and our well and our water is at the bottom of the land. So we are what are we? So at the top of the land, we've either got to get water up from the bottom, which is a challenge.
It's a long way.
Or we can collect rainwater, and that's great in the rainy season. And then as the summer progresses next year, that water will slowly run out, or quickly run out. So stage one is where we currently sit, which you've seen in many of the videos. We're going to remove our yellow sunshade and create a permanent sunshade area, with a view that it means we can still sit there when it's raining, because it will have a permanent roof and a wooden structure.
Yeah, it's going to be, when you're saying remove the sunshade and put a sunshade, we're talking like stilt legs and a metal roof, aren't we?
Yeah.
Proper, solid, against the rain mainly, but it'll be really great keeping it shady too.
Yeah, with the primary objective of that area being is A, we can still use it when the weather is poor because it will be a permanent structure with a solid roof, but more importantly we're going to build 3 IBCs, which are the 1,000 litre water collecting things.
Tanks, yeah,
tanks,
big water tanks.
And then that means that the water that we collect from that roof will go into those IBCs and be at the top of the land where we're going to have the nursery and the polytunnel and where we're going to do our growing.
Yeah.
And we're aware that 3,000 litres in the height of summer is probably only going to last a couple of weeks or a month. So we'll be putting in other IBCs in the nursery area, so where we have our potting shed, we have IBCs there.
Yeah, anywhere you have a roof, you can collect water off of it.
Yeah, and then we'll have other IBCs dotted around the land, which maybe have their own little roof, primarily for catching water.
Yeah.
So that will give us at least a temporary or short-term fix for water. While we then, as another project, look at clearing the well, and look at pumps and getting water up the land with a pump system. Yeah,
I mean, there's just so much to do. There are so many different areas and so many different projects we could be doing that we don't want to spread ourselves too thinly and start doing a bit of well clearing and then work out how to get water out of it and spend money on it, and then realise that we've neglected growing. So priority number 1, we want to be able to grow food next year, so we're going all in. The polytunnel will keep everything sheltered, and we can bring on tender things in the cold and the wet, and we'll store water so that when the rains eventually dry up we can keep growing those vegetables and they won't all die up and make it all a waste of time. And the well will just wait for another day, won't it?
So what you'll have missed is, and what happened was we had a memory card that was faulty on the camera. So we've got about 60 gigs worth of footage that we can't use.
It's so sad.
So what you missed is last week we had 3 IBCs delivered. So that's 3,000 litres. We have ordered more, but we wanted food grade ones, which are much harder to source in Portugal. We've had 100 pallets delivered. So the first thing is we've planned out what I'm calling the shade garden, which is our new structure for collecting water and for sitting in that we just mentioned. So we've got 3 IBCs in stock already. So this week I'm picking up the wood from Castelo Branco and start building the shade area. Hopefully get that done in a week. When that's finished, then we're going to start building and preparing the area for the nursery area so that we can get our polytunnel ordered. And then it's good to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
Glasses on now because we had a lot of questions. We'd like to answer some of those, wouldn't we?
Yep.
So Alan says, what made you choose Portugal? Was it easier to obtain land over, say, France or Italy?
Is that one for me?
You can answer that one.
Why did we choose Portugal? A lot of reasons. Portugal is beautiful. It has a fantastic climate. Rosie's not overly keen on the really hot bits, but we didn't mind them so much, making use of the lake. So apart from that, it's got a lovely, long, warm growing season and a fairly mild winter. So that was a big plus for us. We love the land, lots of trees, lots of forests, being close to the sea, being close to Spain, has a lot of plus points. The land here was very cheap, which was obviously nice if you're on a bit of a budget trying to get land. What else was there?
I think also, I mean, we didn't consider France, but when we were travelling in the van, we greatly considered Spain. We love Spain, particularly around the Algarve region, sort of Motril and Alicante's beautiful mountains, similar landscape to this, the Sierra Nevada area.
Spain would have been quite easy for us as well, slightly more than Portugal because we speak quite a lot of Spanish.
Yep.
And we speak nothing of Portuguese at all, so that would have made it easier.
Yep. And I think post-Brexit we felt that the requirements for the visa for Spain was harder. You required a lot more financial equity than you do for Portugal. And also for us, we particularly wanted to be off-grid. We wanted to be as free as possible in the current climate.
Yeah.
And at the moment, and I'm sure that might change at a later date, but Portugal is very flexible for people that want to go off-grid. It's quite easy to do. There's a wealth of land, as Missy said. Yeah. There's a lot of choice. There's a lot of communities here, so that you've got support and
a lot of people living off-grid already here. Yeah. Similar mindset and so on. So that's a big plus. And France, I adore France. I love France so much. And I speak a little bit of French, but France, the cost of living is just too high.
Yeah.
Even if you live out in the countryside, you could be tucked off-grid like this, I think. But it's really, really expensive. So you like to live the good, cheap life.
And one of the reasons that we chose Castelo Branco itself, or this area, was particularly because of the large amount of people off-gridding here.
Yes.
And then leading on from that, one of the reasons why we chose the wildlands was because in the valley, as it's called, there are many, many people off-grid. And there's a big community, so there's a big support network, a lot of people helping each other out. There's a lot of infrastructure, so it was kind of perfect for us.
Yeah.
And we love it, don't we? It was the best decision ever, I think.
It's amazing, it's wonderful.
Sharon says, would you consider using wind turbine for electricity in winter?
That's a good idea. I would consider it, but I would worry about being a bit of a blight on the landscape, because the only place we would have to put the turbine, it would have to be up the top here where the wind is and not down the bottom of the valley where it's sheltered, and it wouldn't half stand out.
Yeah.
It'd be above the trees, wouldn't it?
And it's not particularly windy, is it? I mean, there's a breeze today.
No, that's true, yeah.
Quite often a nice breeze, but there's not it's not particularly windy per se, is it?
No.
There's not many days where it's like, whoa, that's a bit windy.
No, they have wind turbines on the mountains over there, but they're higher than us, so probably not.
No. Helen says, can we come and help?
Yeah. Probably. We've had a few people coming by and helping out. At the moment, we're still working out what we're doing with projects. So I think we've got so many offers of willing hands to come and help and dig and so on, and we're just not ready for it. But maybe when we're building more, when we're a bit more established and there's too many jobs for us to do.
I think we have a loose kind of plan, which is that we need to put in the infrastructure. So we've built the sort of parking area, and we've had 2 or 3 Vanlifers visit us that we hadn't met before, and that's been lovely. We've had a few friends over. So we've had Goff, who you've seen many times in our previous videos. He's been over a couple of times.
Cozy Adventures just came by. Obviously we've got Martin. Martin's living with us for a while. He's working for us, and he's excellent company, so he's nice to have around.
So I think, Helen, yes, you can come and help, but probably when we've got more
next year,
infrastructure
maybe.
in. So we want to put in compost toilet.
Yes, absolutely.
We want to put in a shower. We do have a shower that we built for ourselves, which you'll see very soon in a video called the Tarzan shower, which is a very basic outdoor shower.
Yeah, we need to prepare.
Nature.
Yeah. We just need to prepare a bit more for visitors, but yeah.
So next year, I think. So I had a lot of questions on YouTube. So Wildcat on the Road, which sort of leads on from the wind turbine question, says, do you foresee the need to dig another well up the top or finance a big water collection system? So I think the answer to that is we're still getting our heads around water management. As we mentioned earlier, the well's at the bottom and we want to grow at the top. So in the short term, we're prioritising our rainwater collection so that we've got short-term water available for the nursery.
It makes a lot of sense, and it's not too expensive. The IBCs aren't particularly expensive. We do obviously still have to make roofs and guttering and pipes and so on, but I think if we wanted to put a well in, it would have to go to the same level as the other well to be able to reach the water, which would just be ridiculously deep. It would be, I don't even know that it would be possible to put one up here, so no, probably not.
So the answer, apart from probably not on the well, is yes, we're financing rainwater collection as our first priority. And then secondly, probably early next year, we'll be looking at having a sort of step system. So we'll have a pump at the well, which is solar powered, and we'll pump water up to an IBC. and go as high as we can, and then we'll have another pump and pump it up to the next IBC and try and step it up the land. That's kind of the general sort of...
Yeah. You say solar pump, I want a ram pump.
A ram
We're going to
pump,
have to discuss that.
Who's responsible for the upkeep of the incoming tracks? Which is a good question.
That is a good question.
So the answer is all the tracks coming off the main road. So it's about a 10-minute drive off the main road on the tracks that you've seen in many previous videos. So those tracks are not necessarily owned by anyone, nor are they maintained by the local council or authorities. However, they are generally maintained by the people that live here, so they're used by farmers. There's 2 or 3 farmers with plots around us. There's a lot of off-grid families and off-grid people here, so what we found is after the heavy rain of a few weeks ago, where there was some runoff and a few potholes developed, people that we hadn't seen or known have filled those in with gravel or toughener. We've been out and trimmed bushes and overhanging trees on tracks, so it's kind of a community project to everyone that benefits from having the access, really.
If you see a problem, you go and take care of it. We found a big boulder had rolled off of somebody's wall, and we moved that out the way so that everybody could get past it. We all just look after it for each other.
So quite a few people have asked about hospitals and medical facilities. Or more specifically, with one of the questions, what is the most dangerous animal or creature around Bitewise, and do you have emergency medical supplies, or how long does it take to get to hospital? Okay,
that's a sensible thing to be thinking about. I think the most dangerous animals that we are aware of at the moment, first of all, you have boar. We've never seen a live one, but we think we've heard them a few times. And if you were to be marching around in your bushes and surprised one, maybe a mother with babies, then there's a chance they'd rush at you and, you know, could do you damage. But as I say, we haven't seen any, and they tend to run away from you when they hear you coming, so that's fine. We have seen one scorpion, so there are scorpions around. That was running away from us, absolutely terrified. You know, generally we're the biggest, scariest creatures out here, so everything runs away. There was a centipede that was supposed to be poisonous, or venomous rather.
The fire centipede. These are about 6, 7, 8 inches long. They're bright orange with quite a nasty bite. So if you got bitten by one of those, it wouldn't be life-threatening, but it would be extremely painful. Maybe you would have to go to hospital to get some treatment. And
there are big, fat, waspy, hornety things. They're orange, they're bright orange and big and fat, and they're scary. And I think if you got stung by one of them, you might like to go and have some kind of shot or something. I don't know. But that's, you know, we're not talking cougars and bears out here or anything like that.
No, but possibly lynx as well.
Wolves, you know.
So no, there is a myth that there are wolves in this area, hence this piece of land originally being called Lobateira, which means land of the wolf. So there is a myth that there is an elderly female wolf that came over from the Iberian mountains.
Possible.
But there's no evidence to support that.
And oh my goodness, the amount of dogs around here and all the farmers or whoever it is that goes out every weekend shooting, I think they wouldn't be around here.
And there's lots of snakes. So
supposedly. Again,
so
we've only seen one.
Only seen one. But again, snake-wise, there are not many snakes that would potentially be life-threatening. With the one that we saw was a very beautiful ladder snake. But most of the snakes that are venomous, their heads are too small to open wide enough to bite humans, so they're probably more...
It's quite sweet to think of them going, I can't bite you.
And in the 2 months that we've been here, we've seen just the one snake. So I think there are lots of potentially unpleasant bites that are not life-threatening, but hospital-wise, the nearest hospital is in Castelo Branco, which is a 20-minute drive.
If Dom was the one that had been bitten, say on his I don't know, eye, so he couldn't drive, then because I don't drive, I either can call an ambulance or I would get in touch with the Valley group, and there's lots of people in the Valley, or Martin. I mean, Martin's here most of the time too, so he could take Dom to hospital, and if it was me, then you could drive.
Yeah, and that comes back to the previous question about infrastructure and support. There was a post, so the Valley group is a WhatsApp group for all the people that live in this part of the valley, as it's called. So the other day there was a lady that did require to go to hospital, but she couldn't get her car started. So she posted her on the Valley group. Within 5 minutes somebody picked her up and taken her to hospital.
Brilliant. That's what you like, isn't it?
And it's funny, isn't it, because whilst it is an important question, so it's funny, isn't it, while it's an important question, there's that sort of thing that being off grid, you're very remote, which we are, but we're 20 minutes from a very large town. So when we were staying at my mum's house in the Chilterns, you've got that kind of false sense of security and safety, but it was 20 minutes to the doctors there.
Yeah, and further to the
40
nearest...
minutes to the nearest A&E.
Yeah, which would have been the exact same problem for us.
Yeah. So we're remoter, but it's just down the road, really.
Yeah.
Are you going to be buying a generator?
Maybe? Maybe? I don't know.
I would say probably not, but possibly. And my logic for that would be that whilst you can buy a diesel generator, most of the decent generators for sale in Portugal, apart from being very expensive, run off petrol. So the storage of petrol in the summer when your temperatures are 40 degrees is not wise. They're noisy, very smelly, and of course the fire risk that I just mentioned. So because we're trying to be sustainable and off-grid, we've been focusing our power tools on lithium battery power, so that we can charge them ourselves and we don't have the cost of diesel or petrol. So I think probably not. So I think when we have to run more high-powered tools and or pumps and so on, we'll be using solar power or lithium batteries that are powered and charged from solar.
Yeah, that's right.
Will you be enrolling your daughter in a local school?
We're still considering our options here. Rosie's been home educated since she was 6, and there are ways that you can do that. You can continue to home educate here, but there are local schools, and we've heard that they're very nice and will happily take English-speaking children. So we're just we haven't decided yet. Besides, we're not actually residents yet, are we?
No. So at the moment, it's something that we're just contemplating. I mean, we'd like Rosie to continue being home educated. And whilst the law in Portugal is slightly more protracted or maybe a little bit harder than the UK for homeschooling, there are a lot of homeschooling communities here. So there are what they call umbrella schools, where you can enrol and not actually attend the school like you would in the UK, but it's done remotely and online with teachers. There are meetups where you can go to lessons with other homeschooled children. So we're still looking at our options at the moment.
Yes.
So last question. What's the first thing you're going to put in your little house when built to commemorate your journey of getting there?
Wow. That's a good question. I like it, but what would it be?
So we've already bought something for the tiny house, haven't we? So that technically would be the answer.
What have we bought?
We bought the wood burner.
Oh yeah! That's kind of part of the build, but yeah, no, I like that. It's really cool. Maybe we can grab a little shot of it just to pop over what we're talking about, because it's second-hand. It belonged to somebody else that lives in the local area, and we bought it for 40 euros, was it?
Yep.
And it's all sort of rusty and very well used and loved, and it's fantastic. We've already had it on a couple of nights on the land, and we love the fact that it's got we bought a little flue for it, so the smoke goes away above you, and you get lots of lovely heat, which actually comes out a fair old way, doesn't it?
It does,
You can sit quite far away from it and have this lovely radiant heat, but not have to worry that any sparks or embers are going to come out or blow away on the breeze or anything like that, because it's all completely contained in this metal burner. So that's fantastic, and that is eventually going to go in the tiny house.
So our plan for the tiny house, digressing, is I'm kind of basing it on Harry Potter, really.
Yeah.
So it's going to have a very tall apex, with a double bed in the roof space, and then the downstairs area is about twice the size of the living area of our van, the sub. So I think the idea is that we'll have our wood burner in there, and then the downstairs will be like a communal sort of office living space and so on.
Yep, little kitchenette.
Yep.
Little sofa, little desk so that we can work there or watch telly from the sofa, and then another outdoor seating area that's a bit sheltered from the sun and the rain.
And as we mentioned at the beginning, that's now on the back burner for certainly a few months, probably 6 months, while we get the growing areas sorted.
Yeah, that's been shelved.
I'm really looking forward to getting up our polytunnel.
Yeah, and the other thing obviously that we've got to do fairly soon is to get Rosie's trampoline.
Yep.
But we're slightly struggling with that because we're just going to get it from Decathlon. They've got some very nice ones, decent price, but they won't deliver here because we don't have an specific address that they can come to, and they won't take the delivery at the shop because it's too big and heavy. So we're going to ask some friends who have an actual address to get it delivered there. And that will finish off Rosie's area for now.
Yep.
And I think that's everything.
So thanks for all the questions. And if you would like to ask any other questions that we've not answered, feel free to put them in the comments of this video, and we'll answer those for you.
Oh, I wanted to say thanks to everybody that's joining in on our Instagram photo challenge. I set it up just thinking it'd be a bit of fun, just to remind me to put a photo up every day, and so many people are doing it now. So the hashtag is TWOCT21, and or you can just go to our page, which is @WeAreThoseWeirdos on Instagram, and then you can find out and join in if you want to, if you're not already, because it's great seeing all your different photos and everybody's interpretations of stuff. My favourite one was on Gadget Day, and everybody posted a picture of the favourite gadget, and I've got a list now of about 20 different gadgets that I now need.
Yeah. So yes, thanks for watching. Thanks again for all your questions. And thanks so much for your likes, your comments, and all our new subscribers joining us, which is always wonderful. Absolutely staggering amount of new subscribers. It's great, isn't it?
It's mad that there's so many people out there just watching us stumbling around on our bit of land in Portugal.
So yeah, upcoming videos. We've finished our Tarzan shower and we filmed all that, so that'll be edited and up in the next week or two. We went on a road trip, which we've mentioned, with Cozy Adventures in Martin, so that'll be up again in the next week or two.
Yep.
And we've started filming the clearing of the nursery area for our polytunnel, so we'll keep you up to date on that. And then this week I'm picking up the wood for the shade house and the first rainwater collection area.
Yeah.
So that'll be filmed and up in the next couple of weeks as well. So a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Everyone keeps saying it's a lot of work, and it is a lot of work.
Oh, but it's fab.
But it's not
fun.
hard work, is it?
Not really hard work.
No. Great deal of pleasure.
Yeah, there's a little Robinson just over there watching us.
And you made a video. So thanks for watching, and hope you're all well, and
see you again soon.
yeah, cheers.
Bye.
Bye.